Hello all, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. So as we are talking about what's new in 2025 release wave 2, now it's the time to talk about updates on pages scripting. Now before we start, I would highly request you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and without wasting further time, let's get into it. Now pages scripting is a feature which was released in Business Central a few years ago, and not to my surprise, but the page scripting tool is widely used by consultants and the key users into the company to kind of use it to train new hires that are in their organization, as well as to run user acceptance test. Now based on the feedback that Microsoft had, where people can suggest ideas about the changes into the product, Microsoft wanted to add new features into this feature that's available in Business Central to make it easier to test and make it more efficient as it's being used commonly. So in this video, we'll talk about updates to the pages scripting that are made with 2025 release wave 2. But if you are someone who haven't used it, let me know into the comment section and we'll do a detailed technical and functional aspect of page scripting tool if that's required. Okay, so without wasting further time, let's get into the product. So right now I'm on my Business Central 27 US version preview, which is a preview version right now. To access the page scripting, click on the gear icon on your right hand side and you will see an option, page scripting preview. Now it's being in preview from the time it has been launched. I'm a little bit confused what else Microsoft is thinking about it, but I'm pretty sure there are some good things that will be coming into it before it becomes GA. Okay, so let's start into page scripting. So as you click on it, you see this window. I'm not going into the details of how you use it. If you don't know it, as I said, put it into comments, we'll talk about it. So when you start new, you see that started recording, and then let's talk about the updates that are there. So what happens at this point, when you click on anything, start recording your actions, like it says navigate to item, because I clicked on item, and it also tells me that the page item was shown. Okay, the first thing that's important here is when you want to add a new line. So before version 27, you can always add a new line at the end of it. So if I have to kind of, I know that this was not needed, dismiss tour, it's a user choice. I just did it because I didn't like it at this moment, but I wanted to add something in the middle of it. So that was something that was not possible before 27. You cannot add steps in the middle, but now I can actually do that I can say add step at this point, right? So it'll actually start from there. So you can actually define the insert point of the next recorded step. So I can come here and say record from here. So my cursor, if you notice, will change here, and then any steps that I take from this point will start recording from here. So let's say when I click new, it understands that I have clicked new, and I have also clicked OK. As you notice that the new steps are being added before that step. So that's an enhancement which is not available before version 27, but it makes it easier for you to kind of say, okay, any weird stuff that I've run for my thing, or if I have, let's say for example, define the description here, test, and then I have defined that's a non-inventory item, right? But I actually want to record anything in the middle of it. I can actually do that by using the insert point of when my step will be recorded. In the same way, you'll just keep adding your stats that you want to do. So let's say 1 week of lead time, but I actually want my lead time to be before the type is selected. So now you have a way that you can select that and move that step up or down if needed. So it makes it easier for you to rearrange steps order with business central 27 and higher for sure. Because while you are recording, you might don't remember the order correctly, but once you are in the middle of recording, you know that you want to kind of shuffle between the items that you have recorded, so you can just drag the steps to move it based on your positions. Now remember, I should not be moving this to here, which makes no sense, right? So make sure makes sense when you're kind of trying to do it. Keep in mind that you are arranging it in the same order. Now the other thing which is very good is that you can delete any arbitrary steps. So like, I know that I don't want it to keep this because that'll be nasty, so I can just delete it from here. And I also don't want it to keep focus on vendor number because I'm not going to fill in. I just hit tab, that's why the cursor moved here. So now you have flexibility to remove any step which you don't think was needed, right? Before this release, you are also able to delete the steps, but you are not able to delete in the middle of it. Now if you can actually go and say, oh, I didn't want it to focus on type, I can just go in even in the middle and delete it. When you delete it for the first time during a recording, you get a warning saying removing step out of order may cause recording to not work as expected, because you are deleting something from the middle. So for the first time, you will get a warning that it may break the script, but I'm pretty sure you guys will do a great job over there. The other thing which is very good, that's part of this update, is there has been a huge demand of adding parameters into things. So like, while I'm doing it, let's say I want user to define a value of a certain field. Let's say somebody defines a vendor here, so he says, okay, fabric.inc is there, and I want user to select or key in the vendor item number. Now this is something which is not possible, but now when you click on these three dots on top of your recording and you say properties, you get a new option where properties get loaded, where you have a new section called parameters. So now by expanding this, you can add one or multiple parameter which let user to key in certain values. So like, I can say here that the name of it is vendor item number. It doesn't need to match, it's just there. You can have optional or mandatory parameters, and then here you define what kind of parameter is it. It is a string, number, boolean, and array. What is the default value if you want to assign something, and then you also have a description section for user to understand what this parameter you are expecting. Something like key in item number that vendor uses for this item, so the user gets good kind of information of what he or she need to enter it, right? Now before this, you were able to define parameter, but that was only available by downloading the file, the YAML file. But now you can do it in the UI, so that it makes it easier to kind of test it out and it works or not, right? And then how user can actually fill in these values. The other good thing is, how should I explain you this? Let me try doing that. Okay, so I'll close this. I've defined my parameter, so that's good. And then I want user to key in that value here. So when user selects this, what was that? Why there was all these steps? Invoke lookup, please select, invoke row on repeater. Oh, that was just a selection of this. Okay, so here for the demo, I'll add 45, whatever it is. And then on this step, I'm going to change it to say, okay, I'll go into the properties of it, and the value is not 45. The value is actually what user have entered. Let me try that. Parameter. Okay, control space. It should actually give me that option, if I'm not wrong. For some reason I can do a user parameter, and then it says no, not this parameter. I would actually like to say here, let me make it big because sometimes it kind of gets slower based on the page size. Okay, for whatever reason it's picking up this value, but I can do a parameters, and then this will show you all the parameters that you have defined here. So I can say vendor item number, this is the parameter that I have defined, and the value of it will be plugged in into this, input this into vendor item number. Okay, so you were able to do it before, but now you will be able to do it on the UI. It was available in YAML. Now the other important thing, which makes a lot of sense, that you're not going to kind of record these steps. Let me just save it so that we don't lose a track of it. And I say item recording creation. Okay. The other good thing which is important, that it's very hard to record every possible step in one go, because it gets too much clumsy of when you're trying to do different things on the same thing. But now when you're doing this, you can actually come here and say that I would like to add a step, and it takes some time for this to kind of operate. And here you can stop, and I say stop, it just pauses it. And then when I go back to start recording and try doing add step, you'll see that there is this new option added into the step, which is include a script. So you can actually include a other set of recorded script which is related to this particular test that I'm using. So for example, if I want to say that I already have a recording of how you define dimensions into an item, so I can just say include a script, then it'll let me choose a path, and here I say add default dimension to item. So once I click on it, it'll automatically bring that with the file path and add that whole recording section into it. So it'll automatically add everything that's defined there. You could have done it before but in a YAML file, but now you can include other script from the pane itself by entering either the relative path, or you can select that file as I just did, right? So it automatically let you add subscript into it. Okay, so I've done a lot of things here. Okay, let's quickly revisit them. Let's do it, I guess, after we watch it. So we have built an item, we have done that. Let's quickly try that. Okay, so I'm going to save this, done that, and now I'm going to stop it so that I'm good to kind of replay it. Now remember, while you're running these, you need to be at the right at the exact starting point. So I cannot actually start it from this page. I'll have to go to my landing page, which is my role center page. So once I'm on role center page, I will be able to start it again. So I can say play from here, and you will notice that it'll start doing. The first thing that's asking me, the second one was added by mistake, is what is the vendor item number. So the parameter name that I've defined comes here, the description that I've added comes here. So I say that okay, my vendor called is as, so that I remember it, vendor 001. Notice here, this is mandatory and this is not, so you can have that flexibility while defining these parameters. Now when I run this, it starts running, and as we talk about it, it started selecting the template at this point. Now I could have taken some time, that's what kind of being recorded, and here it comes in, puts the test over there, put 1 week over there, put type 2 in there, then it selects the customer, and now it goes in and start creating the dimensions for this item card, which was a separate set of recording on another script that I have recorded. So it makes it easier for me to manage the subset of recording, because more or less, I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure if I want to use the create dimension recording on my customer or vendor entity, I can just plug it in because these are common items across the system. So by doing that, it becomes super easy for me to kind of manage these recordings and then align these recording together. Now let's look at how that file looks like, which we just created after opening this, right? After recording and adding sub steps into it. So now if you look at it, here it is. It says item creation, and let me make it a little bit bigger. It defines where I was, then tells me where I navigated, which is item list. Then from there, it opened the item template list and so on and so forth. As we come down here, you'll also notice that it is here including a separate sub script, which is add default dimension to item. It defines where the path of that is, and then it runs it for the default item. So it automatically understands what need to happen. And here at the end, you also notice that there are some parameters. So whatever you have defined on the UI, that all comes in, and all your steps are easily read in human readable format with the YAML file. So now let's quickly recap what we did. With the page scripting now, starting Business Central 27 and higher, you'll be able to define the insert point for the next record step. It can be in the middle of it, it can be at the beginning of it, it can even be at the end, which was the option which was available earlier. As you are recording, you are also able now to rearrange the steps order on which order these steps should come in. So that makes it easier. Just remember one thing, that don't rearrange in order that will cause a script to fail. I'm pretty sure every developer or consultant and users understand it. If by mistake during recording you have recorded any arbitrary steps which doesn't make sense, you now have power to kind of remove those steps if needed, not just at the end, at any given point of time. If you have to define a subscript, that's possible easily by going into the clicking on the three dots and selecting a subscript to be added, and it's just get added. The only rule there is that your recording should have been saved at that moment, and you have to pause and start the recording again to do that. Last but not least is that now you have a possibility to define parameters against your script. These parameters can be optional or mandatory, and then for users benefit, you need to define it a name, a description to this, and have to choose a data type so that user can key in the right value. Now I haven't tried arrays and other options there, but I'm pretty sure it'll be interesting to see those, how it works. Let me know what you think about the enhancement into the step recording process that we have seen. Also, you know the drill at this moment. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you think this will help at least one of your friend, then please do share it with at least one person. That's what I guess I expect from you at this point. And as I said in the beginning, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do hit that subscribe button and don't miss out any updates around Business Central. I'll see you sooner than later into the next video. Till then, keep watching, keep learning, and keep sharing whatever you're learning. Thank you. Have a nice day.